You tell yourself strength is silence. Chin high, jaw tight. No wounds, no doubt, no crack for anyone to pry open. You think if nothing leaks, nothing can be used against you. That's the myth you've been loyal to, and it's killing your power. Listen to me. Invulnerability is not strength. It's a cage you decorate to look like a throne. Every secret you guard becomes a steering wheel on your back. Every flaw you hide turns into a lever someone else can pull. Not because they're smarter or stronger than you, but because you handed them the handle and begged them not to use it. You think I don't get it? You learned this code in rooms that taught you softness equals pain. Locker rooms, boardrooms, kitchens where your father didn't say much, but his eyes said, "Don't be weak." You played sports where the slightest limp drew a target. You stepped into jobs where the loudest guy was the safest guy and the honest man got crushed. Never let them see you sweat sounds like wisdom when the room punishes anyone who bleeds. Masks kept you safe for a while. The game rewarded it. You got quick wins by hiding the bruise and speaking like steel. You felt untouchable as long as you didn't flinch, but you paid for it. You're still paying for it. Comfort is expensive. Here's the mechanism you missed. Secrecy is leverage. Whatever you refuse to name becomes an invisible contract. It says, if you ever bring this up, I'll do anything to make it go away. If the thing you fear is being called out for your insecurity, anyone who hints at it can move you. If the thing you hide is the debt, the addiction, the kink, the failure, the mistake, the fear of not being enough, congratulations. You've left a map on your chest for anyone to press and own you. It's not just people who use it. Institutions do, algorithms do, your own mind does, because fear becomes intelligent when it learns to speak your language. That voice in your head doesn't need facts, it needs handles. It whispers, they'll find out. It whispers, don't go there, don't try that. Keep the image intact. And so you stop making moves that matter and start maintaining a persona. You stop building and start polishing. You stop confronting the work and start controlling the optics. That's the real cost of playing invincible. You trade your mission for maintenance. You trade growth for the upkeep of a statue. Look hard at your decisions over the last year. How many of them were chosen to protect your image instead of push your life forward? How many risks did you pass on because the mask might crack? How many rooms did you avoid because someone in there knows what you hide? How much did your mouth stay shut because the lie demanded silence? You call it strategy. It's not. It's fear assigning your route. You become predictable. I can steer you without touching you. I press the shame you hide. I question your manhood in the area you faked. I mention the time you failed. I hint at the rumor you kept quiet. You rush to control the narrative. You pivot away from your plan to defend your image. You skip the mission to put out the PR fire in your head. People do this to you. Your boss does it. Your partner does it. Your so-called friends do it. The comment section does it. Even the apps on your phone do it. They've studied your fear and learned where to poke. You think you're in charge while you dance for the ghosts you refuse to say out loud. Watch the perimeter of your life tighten. It's slow. It's quiet. It doesn't feel like imprisonment because you decorated the bars with praise and performance. But step back. Notice how your risk window shrank. Remember when you would try, fail, and try again? Now you only try where you can't be embarrassed. Notice how your relationships feel safer, but colder. You keep them at arm's length because intimacy threatens exposure. You would rather be admired than known. You tell yourself, that's maturity. It's not. It's containment. Lies stack on lies. You start lying about small things to protect big lies, then lying about big things so the small ones don't look stupid. Your days fill with tasks that manage fallout from stories you built to be untouchable. Courage atrophies into compliance because every day you practice obeying the shame you serve. You think you're tough, but you're trained. And the trainer is your fear. I'm not saying this to shame you, I'm saying this to rip the leash out of your neck, because there is a moment, if you have the guts for it, where you pick the thing you're terrified to say and you say it. Not to cry for sympathy, not to collapse, but to kill the blackmail. You put it on record. Yes, I did that. Yes, I struggle with this. Yes, I fear that. And then watch what happens. The world doesn't end, the blackmail does. The threat loses teeth the second you put it in the light. Someone says, I heard about your divorce. And you say, yeah, I failed that marriage. Here's my part. Here's what I'm rebuilding. Someone says, I know you blew that money. And you say, correct. I was careless. I paid for it. Here's my plan now. Someone says, you're insecure. And you say, I am. I wrestle with it, and it won't stop me. What do they hold over you now? Nothing. You'll see it in their eyes. They don't know where to press anymore. There's no button, no handle. You deleted it. This is what vulnerability actually is. It's not bleeding to be pitied. It's not dumping your feelings on people who didn't earn them. It's not begging to be rescued. Vulnerability is preemptive disclosure. It's a strategic decision to expose what you refuse to be controlled by. It returns you to voluntary action. When you own the story, you steer it. When you hide the story steers you. You want power? Start with ownership. I drink too much. I don't trust myself around it, so I don't touch it. That's not weakness. That's a man drawing a line. I got fired because I coasted. That won't happen again. That's not shame. That's authority. I feel like a fraud when I step into new rooms. I go in anyway. That's not insecurity. That's a fight. You don't become confident by thinking. You become confident by surviving reality. You cannot survive reality if you're running from the parts of it that include your flaws. Some of you are already resisting. You're thinking, but if I let people see this, they'll crush me. Listen, they already are. Just quietly, just slowly, just through your self-imposed obedience. At least when you say it out loud, you call the play. You choose the terms, you set the frame. You're not hiding behind an image while your actual life gets decided by fear. You step into the room and you stand there exposed and you move anyway. That is the only path to sovereignty. Not the performance of invincibility, but the practice of freedom. Let me show you the pattern you're in, because you need to see it to kill it. You're in a loop where you spend energy building armor, not building results. You obsess over how strong you look. You miss how controllable you've become. You hand out tickets to everyone that say, if you ever want to stop me, mention this. They mention it. You stop. Then you tell yourself you're strategic, that you're choosing your battles. You're not choosing anything. You're being steered. You have all the muscles in the world and none of the agency. It's brutal to admit. It's the doorway to change. What are you hiding right now? The search history, the debt, the way you treated someone, the fear you'll never measure up without the costume. Fine, name it, write it, say it, to yourself first, out loud. Feel the burn in your gut when your mouth forms the words. That burn is not death, it's your leash snapping, it's your nervous system recalibrating to truth. It's your identity learning it can survive reality. The life you want is hidden behind the actions you avoid. Now the warning. Preemptive disclosure isn't a free-for-all. It's not oversharing to feel better. That's not power. That's seeking mothering from strangers. This is about calling your own shot. You decide the battlefield. You choose who needs to hear it and why. Sometimes the right move is telling the team, I was wrong, here's the fix. Sometimes it's telling your partner, I lied, no excuses, here's the truth and the plan. Sometimes it's telling yourself, I'm not who I say I am online. Starting today, I will be. You do not perform it for applause. You deploy it to remove leverage. Start paying attention to how much of your day is designed to protect a costume. How often do you lie in small ways because the mask can't be disturbed? How often do you talk like a man who never doubts but act like a man who never decides? And you want to build something that matters? Stop pouring concrete over your insecurities and calling it a foundation. It's a tomb. You cannot build depth on denial. You build depth on exposure and correction. You build by telling the truth, taking the hit, and then moving forward 20 pounds lighter because you're not carrying an invented version of yourself on your back. And hear this, vulnerability doesn't mean softness in your spine. It means steel in your stance because you've got nothing left to hide. When you bring your flaws into the open, you don't become easier to kill, you become harder to steer. The enemy of your mission is not attack, it's manipulation. You can fight attack. You can't fight a puppet string you refuse to see. There will be a moment when the habit of the mask tries to seduce you again. Someone will test you, you'll feel the flinch. Hide it, play it cool, control the optics. Stop. Ask, what leverage am I granting right now? Then burn it, speak. Yes, that's true. Yes, I messed that up. Yes, I'm scared. Then move into the action you were avoiding. Dial the call, make the ask, take the reps, publish the work, apologize, correct, advance. Watch how fast your mind stops negotiating when there's no more secret to protect. Suddenly the only question is, what serves the mission? Men who master this become ungameable. You can't threaten to cancel what he's already admitted. You can't dangle rumors he's already owned. You can't whisper doubts he's already told himself out loud. He makes his moves not to protect reputation, but to achieve result. He's not reckless. He's clean. His energy isn't split between execution and image management. It all flows in one direction. That's power. That's dangerous in the best way. Look back at the rooms that trained you to hide. Were they strong rooms or were they insecure rooms? Rooms that punish honesty are weak rooms. They reward masks because masks are easy to control. Outgrow those rooms. Outgrow the men who demand invincibility theater. Respect them if you must. Don't copy them. I'm telling you, the men you respect most aren't flawless. They're fearless in disclosure. They'll tell you fast where they lack, and they'll tell you faster what they're doing about it. That's why you trust them. That's why they move mountains. Their hands are free. And yes, you will lose some people when you switch. People who loved your mask will hate your face. Let them go. If a relationship can only survive when you pretend, it's a transaction, not a bond. I'd rather be alone with truth than popular with a costume. You think social approval will save you? Social approval is weather. It changes by afternoon. Meanwhile, the storm inside you keeps raging because you won't face it. Kill the storm, stand in the rain, you will not melt. You will harden where it matters, in your will. Practicality matters. So here's what this looks like in motion. You catch yourself editing your story mid-sentence to protect an image. Stop. Tell the unedited one. You notice you're avoiding a room because someone in there knows a thing. Invite them to lunch. Bring the thing up first. You feel ashamed of a habit. Announce the boundary that protects you from it and keep it. You catch the algorithm feeding you validation to maintain the brand. Post the truth. Watch who stays, watch who leaves. Let that prune your life. Most of you want to be brave without pressure testing your identity. You want battle confidence without battle scars. It doesn't work that way. You don't earn self-respect avoiding blows. You earn it by taking them and staying on mission. Own your story, then run your play. Do it enough times and something shifts at the core. You stop asking, what will they think? You start asking, what moves the mission? It's not that you stop caring. It's that you care correctly. You care about outcomes, not optics. You care about truth, not theater. There will be pain. There will be embarrassment. You'll feel it hit. Let it. Pain is a bill. Pay it once and be free, or dodge it and pay interest forever. When you hold the secret, you pay interest. In energy, in focus, in courage, every day. When you pour it out, you pay principal. It hurts. Then it's done. Which is worse? Dragging chains for years or ripping the bandage and running lighter? Stop treating shame like a guardian. It's a prison guard. Don't confuse this with dumping your soul on people who haven't earned it. I'm not telling you to hand live ammo to your enemies. I'm telling you to unload the gun by telling the truth on your own terms. You don't need to tell everyone everything. You need to tell the right person the real thing for the right reason. That's how you keep command. That's how you guard your purpose without hiding from your humanity. You want discipline? This is discipline. The discipline to say the line you don't want to say. The discipline to face the consequence and keep moving. The discipline to look in the mirror and call yourself out without flinching. The discipline to choose mission over image when they collide. Do this and your workouts get harder, your work gets cleaner, your relationships get deeper, and your time gets focused. Because there's no energy leak. There's no second life you're trying to keep alive behind the scenes. You want masculinity? Here it is. Not peacocking, not pretending, not performing invincibility for strangers online. Masculinity is willingness to confront reality and take responsibility. Responsibility for what you've done. Responsibility for what you fear. Responsibility for what you're going to do next. You don't need to out-alpha the room. You need to out-own the truth. That's the man everyone trusts when things go bad. That's the man who can lead. That's the man who is impossible to corner because nothing in him is held hostage. This is not theory. In every industry, the men who rise and stay are the ones whose enemies can't find a string to pull. They've already revealed it. Try to expose him and you end up repeating his story in your own words. Try to shame him and he nods because he knows. You can't move a man who will not deny himself. He's not perfect. He's free. So here's the charge. Take inventory today. List the secrets that steer you. The 3 things you most avoid being known for. The 3 fears that veto your moves. Decide which ones require a public statement and which ones require a private confession and corrective action. Then do it. Don't wait to feel ready. You never will. Read the line out loud, hit send, make the call, have the conversation, pay the debt, end the habit, start the practice, move. When the shame spikes, breathe. Remind yourself what you're doing. You're deleting handles, you're burning the strings, you're making yourself non-compliant to manipulation. You're building a life where your actions align with your mission because there's no secret agenda running beside it. It will feel like dying for 20 minutes. It will feel like living for the next 20 years. Stop worshiping the mask that made you small. Stop defending the statue that cost you your blood. Walk off that stage. Step into the arena with your name, your scars, and your plan. Let them talk. Let them judge. Let them try to weaponize what you've already weaponized against yourself. You're still here. You're still moving. Every step you take without hiding will feel like a strike against the old king in your head. Keep swinging until he's gone. You have a choice right now. Keep perfecting the costume and stay steerable, or become a man with nothing to hide and nothing to blackmail. You cannot have both. Sovereignty requires exposure. Confidence requires confrontation. Freedom requires truth. Choose. This is not a suggestion. It's a command if you want your life to be yours. Say the forbidden thing. Burn the leash. Restore your mission to the throne, then live like a man who cannot be maneuvered because he told the truth first. That's power. That's discipline. That's masculinity. And it's available the moment you stop pretending you don't bleed and start owning the fact that you do. Then step, then build, then lead.